If you like this video, why not subscribe? Hey everybody, welcome back. As you can see here, I'm fiddling once again with the Frugal Cage. That's the camera cage that gives me lots of places to mount external camera accessories. And today I'm going to show you how I created a brand new external battery system. And what this one does that the previous one didn't was it gives me access to two full-size Sony F970 batteries. The previous one, as you recall, had them stacked on top of each other, and there's only enough space on the bottom for an F550 battery, which is smaller. This one, by mounting them side by side here, gives me two batteries, one to power the monitor for 6 to 7 hours and one that will power the camera all day. So it's definitely a step up and something I wanted to add. This system is also less expensive to build because these plates are less expensive than the previous version. And I just got them mounted on top of an old piece of cutting board scrap that I had left over from the trolley dolly. And that is screwed right to my Frugal Cage on 2 points so it doesn't wobble at all, unlike the other system. So this is good for this as well as any other kind of camera cage. It's easily adaptable to whatever you want to attach it to. And if you're interested, I'll show you how to make it right now. Now this is how the battery plate comes. It's made to fit a Lilliput monitor, so you need to remove the adapter plate with these 4 Phillips head screws, which separates it from the battery plate. Then the cord passes through this hole that you can't just pull out because it's too small. So you have to remove the terminals from your battery plate in order to get the cord out of the hole. And how you do that is by removing this plastic plate, take out these 2 tiny screws. Then you have your 2 battery terminals. Notice the positive and negative signs so you can orient them later with red and black. Red is positive. Then I just measured the whole battery plate length and width, so I found out where the center was because I needed to create a hole so the cable could pass through. Then I just took those measurements, put them on my cutting board, measured them out appropriately, connected all the lines, found the intersect points because I knew where the plates were going to sit. Then I just drilled them out, drilled a pilot hole. Then I took my drill and just kept drilling until I took my biggest size, my 1/2-inch drill, to give the biggest hole possible. Then I just held my battery plates down and made little marks with a screwdriver on the cutting board so I knew where to drill more holes, which I did with a drill press. Next up, I needed to find out where the 1/4-inch holes were going to be that would allow me to mount this to my rig. So I actually took my rig and took the 2 holes that I was going to connect this thing to and put them on a copier, put those holes on a copier glass, made a copy, which gave me a paper copy of my target holes. So then I could cut it up into a smaller piece and put it actually on my cutting board so I could see how I needed to orient it and where exactly where my holes needed to be. This made the whole process a lot easier. Then I drilled those marks out with a 1/4-inch drill, actually something a little smaller than a 1/4-inch, and then self-threaded the holes with my screws. Then I fed the 2 battery cables through the holes and back into the battery plates, which I then put the terminals in little notches and just moved the springs out of the way, and the terminals fell right into place. Then I put the little plastic plate back on, attached them with screws, held the battery plates onto the holes that I'd created. That's a good idea to make these holes a little bit smaller than the actual screw, like I did with the 1/4-inch screws, because they will self-thread. This is really easy with a piece of cutting board, but if you have something like metal, you're going to have to tap the holes out to get this to work. And there you go. It's also a good idea to check the terminals to make sure they spring back into place properly, because if they don't, you'll have to take it apart and see what's interfering with that spring. Now if you build this completely from scratch, it's only going to set you back about 30 bucks. I'll leave a complete parts list in the description below along with links. And again, I've just built mine on a piece of scrap cutting board that I had laying around. As you can see, it's not the perfect shape for this, but I did it anyway. I didn't have time to trim off the top here. But actually I thought, this would be a good place for labels as well. I could put camera on one side and monitor on the other, whatever it's powering, so I know which battery to change at what time without having to trace the cable. But you can use a piece of metal, plastic, whatever. I'm just using a cutting board because that's what I had. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, please check out my other videos concerning the Frugal Cage. There's a lot of them, and you can find them all at thefrugalfilmmaker.com. And I thank you for watching.